Hello, good day. Now we will discuss about growth and development, part 1. In this video, I will discuss about the growth. Now we will come to growth charts. Growth charts used for preterm babies are Fenton's charts, intergrowth 21 charts, Heron-Kranz charts. Commonly used growth charts are Fenton's charts and Heron-Kranz charts. So the growth charts in preterm babies are Fenton's charts, intergrowth 21 charts and Heron-Kranz charts. Growth charts for term newborns and children are the World Health Organization and Center for Disease Control charts. Now we will see about the formulas to calculate the height and weight. Here is a Veitch's formula. It's used to calculate weight and height. Weight from 3 to 12 months. The formula is age in months plus 9 divided by 2. From 1 to 6 years, age in years multiplied by 2 plus 8. 7 to 12 years, age in years multiplied by 7 minus 5 divided by 2. So these are the Veitch formula for weight. Veitch formula for height is up to 12 years you can do. Age in years multiplied by 6 plus 77. Now there is a formula for measuring head circumference. It's called Dien's formula. It is length in centimeters plus 9.5 plus 2.59 by 2. Length in centimeters plus 9.5 plus 2.59 by 2. It is called Dien's formula for head circumference. Weight decreases by 10% in first week of life. Weight decreases by 10% in the first week of life, whereas birth weight regains at the end of second week. Birth weight regains at the end of second week. Here is a table showing daily weight gain, growth of the length for every month, head circumference growth for every month. So daily weight gain in preterm babies for 0 to 3 months in preterm babies is 15 to 18 grams per kg per day. So preterm babies grow 15 to 18 grams per kg per day for first 3 months, whereas term babies grow 30 grams per day. These are the daily weight gains according to different age groups. Daily weight gains in grams. Okay, birth weight triples by 1 year of age, whereas quadruples by 2 years. If the baby is 3 kgs at birth, he will be around 10 kgs by first year and 12 kgs by 2 years. So triples by 1 year and quadruples by 2 years. This is the growth of length per every month. Preterm babies from 0 to 3 months, the growth is 1 centimeter per week for 0 to 3 months, whereas term babies it is 3.5 centimeter per month. Okay, and these are the growth growth in centimeters in every for every month according to different age groups. But 4 to 6 years it is 3 centimeter per year. Here every month. Here only 4 to 6 years it is 3 centimeter per year. Okay, in all these age groups it is for every month the growth gaining of height, whereas in 4 to 6 years per year 3 to 3 centimeters per year. First year the weight gain is 25 centimeters. Height gain is total height gain is 25 centimeters. That is, if a newborn is 50 centimeters at birth, he will be 75 centimeters by end of first year. And second year, total weight gain is 12 centimeters. By the end of second year, it will be 87 centimeters. This is the head circumference. Preterm babies will gain 0.7 centimeters per week in the first 3 months, whereas term babies 2 centimeters per month. Okay, this is the head circumference. So for term baby, for first month it is 2 centimeter. For first 3 months it is 2 centimeter per month. For next 3 months it is 1 centimeter. Next 6 months it is 0.5 centimeters, and 1 to 3 years it is 0.25 centimeters. And 4 to 6 years it is 1 centimeter per year. This is about head circumference. Now we will come to VLBW, very low birth weight and preterm catch up means when will the low birth weight infant will become normally like normal child. By 2 years, his low birth weight infant weight will equal to the normal child. By 2.5 years, the low birth weight infant height will be equal to normal child. Okay. Now we will see the formula to calculate mid-parental height. In boys, it is maternal height plus paternal height plus 13 divided by 2 plus 13 centimeters plus 13 centimeters divided by 2. In girls, it is maternal plus paternal minus 13 centimeters divided by 2. Okay, minus 13 centimeters divided by 2. In girls, in boys, it is plus 13, whereas in girls, it is minus 13. Okay. Now we will see the different classifications for protein energy malnutrition. A Waterloo classification for PEM. Height for age. It is classified as normal, mild, moderate, severe according to height for age and weight for age. In height for age, for every entity there is 5 numbers difference. Normal is 95, 90 to 95, 85 to 90, less than, severe is less than 85, severe is less than 85 according to height for age in Waterloo. So height for age 5 difference is there, whereas weight for age there is 10 difference. 90, 80 to 90, 70 to 80, severe is less than 70. So in Waterloo classification for weight for age, severe malnutrition less than 70. Next we will come to Gomesh classification. Here the difference is 15 centimeters. It is calculated as mild, moderate, severe. So 75 to 90 difference is 15 centimeters. 60 to 75 here also difference is 15 centimeters. Severe is less than 60. Wellcome Trust classification. It is mainly by dividing into edema or no edema. If there is edema or no edema. If there is edema, it is called kwashiorkor. If there is no edema, it is called marasmus. Weight for age 80 to 100% without edema is normal. Okay. Weight for age 60 to 80% without edema, underweight. With edema, it is kwashiorkor. Weight for age less than 60% without edema, it is marasmus. Marasmus means very low birth, very less weight. It is less than 60%. If there is edema with along with marasmus, then it is called marasmic kwashiorkor. So if there is no edema with underweight, it is marasmus. The baby will be very thin and emaciated. It is marasmus. If there is edema with low weight, it is called marasmic kwashiorkor. If there is edema with 60 to 80%, it is kwashiorkor. Okay. There is another entity called weight for height. It is used to calculate acute severe malnutrition. In acute severe malnutrition, height will be normal, but weight, there is the decrease in weight only. So if you divide weight with height, then you because weight is reduced, it will be less than 5th centile. So weight for height will be less than 5th centile than the normal child's, because weight will be reduced in acute severe malnutrition, but height is normal. Whereas in chronic, both weight and height are reduced. Height is also stunted, but in acute the height is normal, but in chronic weight and height both are stunted. So weight for height is normal. So weight for height is a reliable entity to calculate acute severe malnutrition. Next we will come to the definition of failure to thrive. Failure to thrive can be defined in children less than 3 years with weight less than 5th percentile, less than 3 years with weight less than 5th percentile. So failure to thrive is mainly dependent on weight, not on height. Weight less than 5th percentile. It is in less than 3 years children only. Whereas short stature and stunting is nothing but decrease in the height. It is due to decrease in the height. Failure to thrive is due to decrease in the weight, whereas short stature and stunting is due to decrease in the height. Stunting is not due to nutritional, not commonly caused by nutritional causes, whereas failure to thrive is caused by nutritional causes. That is, weight reduction is by nutritional causes, whereas stunting is height reduction is not by nutritional causes. It is due to congenital, endocrine, familial or constitutional causes, not due to nutritional causes. Stunting is not due to nutritional causes. It is due to congenital, endocrine, familial and constitutional causes. Short stature can be divided into four types: familial short stature, constitutional short stature, malnourished short stature due to malnourishment, and short stature due to hormonal causes. How will you define these four types of short stature? In all the types of short stature, the height age will be less than chronological age. That is, height age means if chronological age of the baby is, if the boy is 5 years, but his height will be as if like a child of 3 years. So in all the types of short stature, his height age will be less than the chronological age. That is, if the child chronological age is 5 years but his height is less like 3 years age. So in all types of short stature, height age is less than the chronological age. You remember this point. See here, in familial short stature, height age is less than the chronological age. That is, chronological age is more than the height age. In constitutional short stature also, height age is less than the chronological age. Chronological is more than the height age. In hormonal endocrine short stature and malnourished also, height age, chronological age is more than height age, and height age is less than the chronological age. So in all types of short stature, height age will be always less than the chronological age. Now we should see only the bone age. So already you know about height age and chronological age. So if you come to familial short stature, bone age is equal to chronological age. Bone age is equal to chronological age. In constitutional short stature, bone age is equal to height age. Bone age is equal to height age. In familial short stature, bone age is equal to chronological age, whereas in constitutional short stature, bone age is equal to height age. Okay. In hormonal short stature, bone age is less than the both height age and chronological age. So bone age is less than the both height age and chronological age, because in endocrine causes like hypothyroidism, bones are not matured and mineralization is not done. Like in rickets also, hypothyroidism and rickets, the bones are not matured. So bone age is, if you see in the x-rays, bone age, it will be less than the height age and also chronological age. In hormonal causes, the bone age is, the ossification is impaired in the hormonal, so bone age is less than both height age and chronological age. Whereas in constitutional short stature and malnourished, the bone age is equal to height age. So bone age and height age both are less than the chronological age in constitutional short stature, whereas in familial short stature, bone age is normal according to chronological age, but more than the height age. So you remember this. In familial, bone age is equal to chronological age. In constitutional, bone age is equal to height age. In hormonal, in malnutrition also same like constitutional, bone age is equal to height age. In hormonal, bone age is bone age is less than both height age and chronological age. This is how you define all the four types of short stature. Familial short stature and constitutional short stature are the normal variants, because familial short stature is dependent on the maternal parents' height. Familial short stature is dependent on the parents' height. Okay, if the parents are short, then the final height of the child is also short, so it is a normal variant. In constitutional short stature, until puberty, the the height of the child is less than the peer group, but after puberty his growth velocity will increase, and by the end of 18 to 20 years, his height will be normal, it will be equal to the peer group, so it is also one of the normal variant. Okay, now we will come to upper segment to lower segment ratio. Upper segment is nothing but top of the head to the symphysis pubis. Lower segment is symphysis pubis to the bottom of the legs. So upper segment by lower segment is higher in short limb dwarfism in rickets, because here the lower segment, the length of the limbs will be less in short limb dwarfism and rickets. Lower segment is decreased, so upper segment lower segment ratios will be higher. Now we will see what is body mass index. Body mass index is weight in kilograms by height in meters square. Okay, weight in kilograms by height in meters square. If the body mass index is more than 95th percentile, it is called obesity. 85th to 95 percentile, it is called overgrowth. Use BMI for children only more than 2 years. So it is about detailed discussion. It is about detailed discussion on the growth, in the growth development of growth and development, in the chapter of growth and development. It is the detailed discussion on the growth. In next part I will discuss some important concepts of both growth and development. Thank you.